are
And
calling
Daniel
for
Hakikatu is
normalization
doing
of
his
Israel.
thing.
While the entire
Barakallah.
ummah is boycotting pro-Israel companies like
Wahhabism. Beware
Starbucks and
of being
McDonald's.
a Wahhabi. Subhanallah. Do not listen to these Wahhabis.
No Starbucks, no McDonald's, Allahu Akbar.
That's why many of the ulama, they said boycotting is haram.
Subhanallah. Look, what is this?
Boycotting Israel is haram.
Boycotting is haram.
But the most offensive claim that they've made is this: if the choice is between Israel and Palestine, Muslims should not prefer Palestinians,
Allahu
and maybe
Akbar.
even they should side with Israel.
La
Why?
ilaha
Because
illallah.
the Palestinians don't have the correct aqidah or creed. They've fallen into
Astaghfirullah,
deviance and even polytheism. Jews, as people of the book, are comparable or perhaps even better than these grave worshipping Palestinian polytheists.
They do shirk, but don't say they did. Other Palestinians committing shirk. Yeah, Allah.
La ilaha illallah. Look at this ignorant fool, yo. Beware of Wahhabism. Beware of it.
Between the UAE and Israel. Treaties and relationships, political relationships with one country to another, this is the responsibility of not us, of the ruler.
How do Palestinians handle betrayal of Saudi and UAE with Israel? There's no betrayal. We're supporting Palestinians all the way. The betrayal is happening from the Palestinians themselves, actually.
La ilaha illallah.
Hamas
My
is
guys.
a hizb, is a cult of people that conspire and work along with the Shia, and they work along with Ikhwan al-Muslimin, and they work along with any type of nonsense.
So therefore, you should work with the Israelis. How does that make sense?
ولذلك النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ترك مكة ومكة أعظم من فلسطين والمسجد الحرام أعظم من المسجد الأقصى.
Now, most of you will immediately be repulsed by all this, and you'll wonder, how could any Muslim have this much animosity towards his fellow Muslims?
Facts.
How could any Muslim side with non-Muslim oppressors against other Muslims?
I wonder.
But this is nothing more than the ugly horns of Kharijism, once again stabbing the Ummah in the back. Once again, this is the Khariji mindset that believes that truly accepting La ilaha illallah means hating other Muslims, in this case, the Palestinians. What's the source of this neo-Kharijism we see today? The most shocking thing that I found out while looking for that answer is that it all comes down to just one man.
Who's this man?
How is that possible? How does one solitary man who lived over 200 years ago radically distort the religious understanding of so many Muslims today?
Allahu Akbar.
In trying to find the answer to this question, I realized that it's not just Medkhalis who are the problem. Medkhalis are just one group of this man's followers. Maybe the best way to visualize this is like a tree. Let's call this the Salafi tree. To simplify things, let's just understand Salafis as Sunni Muslims who generally follow the school of thought of Imam Ahmad, whether in terms of fiqh or aqidah. Yes, I know that's very simplified, but bear with me.
Very simplified.
Needless to say, I have a lot of respect for Imam Ahmad, as do all Sunnis. A sub-branch of Salafis adhere closely to the teachings of one particular Hanbali scholar named Ibn Taymiyyah. Most Sunnis and Salafis also respect Ibn Taymiyyah, even if they don't 100% agree with all his opinions. But stemming from this Ibn Taymiyyah branch, this is where our main character comes in. His main beliefs, however, diverge dramatically from those of Ibn Taymiyyah and Imam Ahmad, in particular regarding sectarianism and hatred towards other Muslims. It's out of this branch that you get not only the Medkhalis, other sectarian Salafis, but also ISIS. My goal by the end of this video is to show you why we need to cut off this rotten branch from the rest of the Salafi tree so that we can purify Salafism and the legacies of Imam Ahmad and Ibn Taymiyyah, as well as rid the Ummah as a whole from the cancer of these neo-Khawarij. So who is this mystery man?
Who is he?
It's none other than 18th century reformer Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab.
The deviant.
Ibn Abdul Wahhab is a
La
very
ilaha illallah. May Allah
polarizing
protect us.
figure. Many hate him and consider him a Khariji deviant and the forefather of ISIS. Many others consider him Shaykh al-Islam. But what is the truth? Before we go any further, I have a confession confession to make. I never took hate against Ibn Abdul Wahhab seriously. I had thought it was all an exaggeration. It seemed to me that liberal Muslims use the word Wahhabi to unfairly smear anyone who's a conservative Muslim. If you think drinking and going to the club to dance and have fun with girls is bad, you must be a Wahhabi. It seemed like the people who were most critical of Ibn Abdul Wahhab were themselves these liberal Muslims who were just watering down Islamic beliefs and didn't really care about important things like preserving Islam and preventing bid'ah or blameworthy innovations. So I never took their criticisms very seriously. But then I started noticing something. The Muslims most closely affiliated with the legacy of Ibn Abdul Wahhab today were some of the most sectarian Muslims I knew, including the Madkhalis, ISIS, and other Salafi sectarians. These were the people who focus all their attention on nitpicking Muslims on what are ultimately secondary or tertiary matters.
Well, you guys can watch the rest.
Meanwhile, they completely ignore the biggest problems
4 hours.
destroying the
MashaAllah.
aqidah and faith of Muslims around the world. Things like liberalism, feminism, and atheism. They claim that these issues are not really a problem. They claim that the real problem is the fact that Muslims haven't studied the books of Ibn Abdul Wahhab and haven't adopted his position on the correct meaning of
Beware of
Tawheed
these
and Shirk.
books.
Rather than joining
Beware
with
of these
other Muslims
books.
to fight back against Zionists or Hindutva fascists who are oppressing Muslims around the world, the followers of Ibn Abdul Wahhab prefer to take advantage of the situation and stab Muslims in the back, to mass takfir Muslims.